Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I am Yoshi Lan, and I'm going to be talking about etherics. Okay, this is going to be a part one of I don't know how many yet, but there's going to be at least five. Okay, so etherics is part of my grand scheme of how to create this unified paradigm of all healing and spiritual stuff, what have you. And the main reason why I'm doing this is because spirituality has a science behind it. An internal science is what it's called. And in the past, it's been unreliable, and so science, the external sciences, the physical sciences like physics, right, and all the other stuff has taken over this reality. And people have gotten confused and lost, thinking we live in a random ass world that has absolutely no meaning. So, thanks to the external sciences, we have all these amazing things, but at the same time, it's wrecked philosophy and spirituality, a whole that is larger than this universe. When you have people committing suicide because there's no more hope, you fucked up something really bad. And this whole thing about not having free will is total bullshit too. Okay? There is free will. It's just because scientists don't have free will doesn't mean we don't. Okay? They choose not to have free will. I'm just saying. So what do we do then to make a unified system that is reliable as well as accountable and universal? Well, the first step that I have taken is to define everything from an energetic standpoint. And that will serve as the foundation because reality is made out of energy. And science knows this, and they're starting to move away from the whole materialistic aspect. Because physics is literally telling everybody in the whole world in science that literally 99.99999% of all of reality that we see is actually ether. It's space. It's the emptiness in my room. 99.9999999%. Okay? And even though we have all of this magnificent stuff, it's actually 0.0000001% that makes up our material world. So, during this transition, science is starting to realize that it's actually the same side, it's actually the other side of the same coin. Okay, we live on the yang side, the material world of physical reality, and so the yin side gets really just kicked off to the side because you cannot see it, and currently we don't have the technology to test it, so according to science, it doesn't exist. But it does. It completely exists. It's on the inside, and anybody can experience it if they choose to and find the practices that is in accordance with those things that they would like to experience. All right, so moving forward, that is etherics. Etherics is the study of energy and its movement, interactions, and manifestations without, with, and within any energetic system. Okay, that is how I define etherics. And etherics have 5 branches. Okay, etherics has 5 branches that I have seen through my vision that everything in the entire universe can be classified into 5 different branches. And that doesn't mean that the branches are separate from each other, they're all interrelated. Okay, so I want to get that clear. This is a unified theory and philosophy and paradigm of everything. Literally everything can go under here. But there are 5 different branches that you can describe things in. The first one I want to talk about today is called geodynamics. And geodynamics covers everything that deals with the earthly realm, the energies of heaven, and all this other stuff that influences us from the celestials, our solar system, our galaxy, those kinds of things. And because of that, there are many different disciplines like Fengshui, Astrology, Dowsing, Divination, Cartomancy, and Psychometry. Okay, these are some of the more well-known spiritual disciplines that fall under the category of geodynamics. Okay, geodynamics is something that I've been working on. Um, I'm working on this new form of feng shui, and I don't really call it feng shui anymore. I thought about calling it neo feng shui for a while, but I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna call it geodynamics. So with geodynamics, there's different types of stuff that influence us. It's literally an influence. Okay, the word influence means to flow in. So we have influence from many different areas, and these influences are actually being blocked. There are good influences. They're energies that are beneficial for our chakra system to stay healthy. Our chakra system doesn't stay healthy from just the inside. It also receives energy from the external world, and I have realized that feng shui plays a key role in this. There's feng shui for your house, there's feng shui for your insides, right? The feng shui for your insides is called inner healing work. Okay, it's inner healing work, it's psychiatry, psychology, whatever you want to call it. That's basically internal feng shui. Feng shui on the external world is feng shui. And that's allowing us to align on the external side so that we can receive these different types of energies that are available to us and something that we actually naturally get in the natural environment. But not so much anymore because now we're living in artificial environments with artificial clutter, right? Out in nature, we didn't really have those kinds of issues. The things in nature had their own feng shui, and so it contributed to our well-being. Okay, it's not just because people live out in nature, they're healthier. It's because of the feng shui. Okay, the feng shui is not cluttered, so they're able to receive these wonderful energies from the universe. There are energies from within the earth, there are energies on the surface of the earth, and then there's also the energies outside of the earth. And all of those energies play different roles in our health and well-being. All right, that explains feng shui. For feng shui, I've also noticed that they only have 4 directions. There's actually 7. Okay, there's 7 directions, and it's not literally directions, it's more like 7 different flows of energy. And each of these different flows of energy correspond to different chakras. I'll have a video up on that sooner or later once I figure things out, because feng shui says really fucked up shit like the kitchen doesn't matter, the bathroom doesn't matter because that's not where you live, that's not where you live, work, or sleep. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's part of your house or part of your life, and therefore it matters. Anything that is a part of your life, your car, your office, your kitchen, the bathroom, any part that you go to for a particular reason affects your feng shui on some level. So feng shui is a very ancient science, and like all science, science didn't used to be reliable. Just taking a page from the history books, how about the episode of making the light bulb? Are you familiar with Mr. 10,000 failures, right? Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times just to make a light bulb. So just like with spirituality, there's going to be periods where it works, but then there's going to be somebody who comes along and goes, no, there's got to be more. There's going to be upgraded. And apparently I'm that person that's coming along and taking a look at all these different wonderful disciplines around the planet and going, are you serious? You think this is it? This is not it. I'm a sage, so I look at things on a very energetic level. And not only that, I'm a dream traveler, and so I've experienced many, many intense and incredible things, that goes beyond the scope of Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange, that level type of awesome. And we have spiritual traditions and people who go into this whole dogmatic stance that they know everything there is to know about spirituality and they've found a way out of suffering. And I'm like, no, you haven't. You found a way, but you haven't found the way. Okay, and the way that the beyond the new age spiritualists are looking and moving toward is this holistic spirituality. Okay, this is not a separatist or dualistic or any type of weird Zen kind of spiritual bypassing type spirituality. No, people are getting tired of that bullshit. They're looking for something genuine and authentic, and that's what we're moving toward. So, with this whole aspect of spiritual traditions, I'm taking a look at all of them and learning them so that I understand how they work, and then also take a look at the energies that they're noticing. Because these scientists came along because there's somebody who had these abilities to see the energy and the flow of energy and be able to know, hey, if you use this particular object or this particular color, right? I'm talking about Feng Shui. If you have royal blue in your success direction, it's going to increase your abundance or your success. And it's time to upgrade those things because there's an energetic way of looking at things that goes deeper than that. It's not just about success. It's actually about the energy flow. If you're energy deficient, then you're not going to be very successful. Does that make sense? If you think of money as energy, which it is, money is energy, then if you have a project, a very ambitious project, and you don't have very much energy, if you don't have much money, funding, then how are you going to make such an ambitious project? Okay, the same thing works in Feng Shui. So I'm taking time to take a look at that. That's something that's on the, coming down the pipeline. I've been sidetracked a bit by this whole nightmare, um, dark energy shenanigans that's been happening because I, like many people, as being human, experience nightmares. So I thought about, what the hell are these nightmares? But I different from other people. When I go and experience nightmares, I go Doctor Strange on their asses. Okay, I become a cosmic, I become a supreme sorcerer, right? That's who Doctor Strange is. That's the level of shit that I elevate to when bitches try to attack me in my dreams. Okay, I go Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel or both at the same time, and then some when I'm attacked in my dreams. So I started taking a look at these nightmares, and I'm gonna have a video on that coming out soon on what exactly nightmares are, where their energies are from, what nightmares are from, what you can do to protect yourself. Okay, now moving back to geodynamics, that's Feng Shui. If you have any more questions about Feng Shui, you can ask me about it. I'm also starting to do consultation and also energy work. If you want to do Feng Shui energy work, I'm also available for that now. I'm at the point where I'm ready to offer this as a type of service. And the type of Feng Shui energy work I do interfaces with your aura. So it transcends anything that Feng Shui, that traditional Feng Shui can offer. Now, the next branch of traditional practice that goes under spirituality and geodynamics is astrology. Okay, there's a lot of misunderstanding as to what astrology is based on how people saw it in the past, right? Because people saw things as one-dimensional spiritual awareness. Likewise, people in the Dark Ages thought the Earth was flat. Well, guess again, the Earth is not flat. And likewise, astrologers who follow strictly to the old school paradigm have also fallen under the same trap, thinking that what you were born with at the time you were born is what you have and what you have to work with. And if you don't have any particular signs or energies, then guess what? You're fucked. That's it. That's the end of the story. I'm here to tell you all that I'm here to tell you that all of that is bullshit, okay? All of that is bullshit. Astrology, what it is that it provides a snapshot of the energies that are available and influencing your life at your birth. Yes, it can predict many things about your life, what you are good at, what you are not good at, all these kinds of things. And what you're good at is energy that's stemming from your karmic past life. Okay? So this talents that we have, it's because we've already honed in and developed these in our past lives. That's why we have access to these abilities in this lifetime. There's no such thing as God-given talent and all that bullshit, okay? God doesn't give you shit, okay? It's your own hard work in your past life that gave you these abilities. And then there's also the other aspect where people have natural flows of energy. And when you have this flow of energy open, it doesn't matter what you want to do, you can excel in it. Okay, so this corresponds directly to intelligence. This whole aspect that some people are retarded and some people are geniuses, all that's bullshit. Okay, there's no such thing as a genius, there's no such thing as a retard. What we have are mental observations of their energetic standpoint. So people who are retarded are people who have poor energy flow into their mind and into their third eye. People who are geniuses have abundance of energy flowing through their third eye. That's why they are geniuses, because they can process and look at energies on such a scale that many people cannot, and they can interpret and see things from a bigger picture and standpoint. Okay, so they have multidimensionality to their thinking. People who have one dimensionality to their thinking as well as low energy, of course, are going to seem retarded in comparison. Are they retarded? No, they're not. They just don't have that ability to comprehend these things because the energy flow is not quite there. So when we start looking at things from an energetic standpoint, we can start affecting all of science, medical science, psychology, physics. We can boost all of this with spiritual knowledge. And there are already people who are on the scene. This isn't anything new that I'm somehow bringing to the table. What I am bringing to the table is this unified aspect of everything and redefining everything on an energetic level, because up to now, I haven't seen anybody else do it. So I'm going to be the one that does it. Somebody's going to do it, and that's something I'm good at. I majored in English and creative writing as well as art. So combining all of those together, I have a very well-developed sense of energy and colors and all of that stuff. And then going back to astrology, okay, as you do your inner healing work and reconnect with all aspects of yourself, all the energies of all the zodiac become open and available to you. Okay, that's the amazing thing about inner healing work. You can think about the zodiac as a wheel. As you do your inner healing work, you move closer and closer to the center. And as you become more begrudging or hateful and negative, you fall farther and farther away from the wheel. Okay, so you're no longer on the wheel. You're what's called the dark side of astrology, right? There's different levels of astrology. People know that each sign has its own crazies and its own saints. Okay, you can become a saint if you want. This is something that's available to you, but there is a process, there's a healing process that goes with that. So what does that mean for astrology? It means that, yeah, there's things that you may not be good at, but you have the option and the free will to open those energy flows. Okay, so astrology is a comprehensive map of what is already available to you, and the map that tells you what is not available to you, you have the choice to work on those things and to increase the energy flow. And then the other aspect of astrology is the stuff that people talk about now, right? Like the incoming Mercury retrograde. So that part of astrology is also very geodynamic because everything is in relation to the Earth. So that's why I call it geodynamics. Geodynamic guidance or geodynamic updates based on astrology. And with Mercury moving backward from the vantage point of Earth, the energy is moving internally. So it's not only helping the Earth, but it's also helping us directly by providing us an influx of energy. And this type of energy is going to help us, and because it's a Mercury retrograde, with our soul path. And that's a very wonderful thing. When you start working toward your soul path and your inner healing work, this is how you get closer to the center of the wheel. It's not just an accident that we have Mercury retrograde multiple times a year. You know, Mercury retrograde isn't here to fuck up our life multiple times a year, as astrology would have you believe. Okay? A lot of the traditional astrologers are like, man, fuck Mercury retrograde. It just fucks up our life. Back up your hard drive. You know, none of that stuff has really ever happened to me. But I'm also born under Mercury retrograde, so it doesn't affect me in the same way as other people. I'm retrograde all the time. That's the energy that I've been born with. And so I also see and experience energies differently. Now, what does that mean for you? Everything's available to you. Okay, it's your choice. I am telling you that astrology is not a cage. It's not something that's predetermined. Same thing with Feng Shui. Feng Shui tells you that you have a particular number with a particular vibration, and on a one-dimensional level, that's true. But on a two-dimensional and three-dimensional level, that's no longer applicable. And you also have that choice and that ability to develop your spirituality into multidimensionality so that you're no longer affected by just one number. So in Feng Shui, how that works in Feng Shui is that as you work on your inner healing work and become whole, you start resonating with multiple numbers. Okay, and you go into a particular sequence. So if you're number 4, you're going to unlock number 5, you're going to unlock number 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, and so forth. Okay, and that's just in general. That's not a rule of thumb. I'm still new at this stuff, so this is based on my observations. Most of the time, it's going to unlock sequentially when you're talking about the Feng Shui energies and your abilities regarding to Feng Shui. Now, the other thing that is very interesting that's also geodynamic is dowsing. Okay, dowsing is a practice that identifies energy flow and movement. And dowsing is a very common practice used in tandem with Feng Shui. Because for people who do Feng Shui, they actually cannot see or sense energy. Okay, so that's a big difference between the people who do Feng Shui and what I do. They use tools in order to see and sense energy, or they're using guidelines and principles. I actually see and experience the energy before I make a decision on what I'm experiencing and what I'm seeing. Now, dowsing, it allows you to do this using tools. You have 2 different rods, and when you have a particular energy, it's going to do this particular thing. Okay, and they have practice and guidelines as to what each of those movements mean. And for dowsing, it's important in Feng Shui because if you have a particular energy flow and you want to fix it, then you'll do particular things, So you can think about it like muscle testing on an external level, on a 3-dimensional level, the energy flow. Muscle testing is a way to test our internal energies. And what people don't really understand with dowsing is that you can actually do energy work on the planet and you can do energy work at the house in Feng Shui so that you can help assist and adjust energy flows. What you see is not what you're stuck with. Okay, I almost said what you see is what you get. No, what you see is not what you're stuck with. So if you have a particular area, let's say you have a beautiful house, and they want to they do their Feng Shui dowsing in there and they find a gigantic vortex of really heavy, ugly, sticky energy in the center of the living room. What are you going to do? You're going to move the entire house? Or are you going to do something else? So in traditional Feng Shui, they'll actually do they'll add stuff or do, I don't know, stuff to help alleviate that energy that's coming up from the earth and screwing up the energy in the living room. And then the other option is to dismantle that shit or to literally pick up the entire house and move it. So there's different solutions to these problems, but that's a lot of hassle and also a lot of money. Another way of doing it is on an energetic level. You can figure out what's the root cause of these energies that's coming from, because it is coming from somewhere. For example, if you have a house, like some people who are built on an ancient burial ground or a prison, the energies are going to be fucked up, okay? There's going to be a lot of weird things happening, poltergeists, hauntings, weird shit happening, okay? And that's because you have these energies that have stagnated and become twisted and heavy over time, and it got polarized. So it's no longer harmonious with the rest of the reality around it. It's starting to develop its own consciousness. And that's where a lot of these melanic entities come from, actually. They start off these very heavy, disconnected energies from reality. And so it starts to develop its own consciousness of its own and start acting based on its understanding of reality and the universe, thinking that it is disconnected from everything, and so it has the liberty and the authority to do anything it wants. And some of these entities have evolved to a point where they create nightmares. Okay? Whew, lots of stuff. There's also divination, I mentioned. Okay, and the reason why divination falls under this category, including cartomancy, is because they're tapping into your life energy. Okay, and most of the people right now haven't developed or reached a point of spiritual development in which they have transcended their geodynamic energies, their DNA. Okay, their DNA. So DNA is your fundamental energetic coding that tells your body as well as how you interpret things and your mind and all this stuff. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in our DNA that science identifies as junk coding, which isn't junk. These are karmic energies, and they're the reasons why we have certain abilities that other people don't have, and also contributes to our unique perspective on energies and how we experience things. So this DNA is very important. Now, when you have this kind of stuff, oh my god, I just lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? I mean, I know what I was talking about, but I don't remember like what my point was. Oh, okay, so holy shit, okay. Divination. Okay, so what divination taps into is your DNA coding. It's the energy that you have been given from your ancestors and from your parents. Okay, from your ancestors funneled into your parents, into you, as well as the time you were born. So it's a combination of the astrology when you were born and your ancestral DNA coding. Okay, and also your spiritual coding. Your spirit itself has its own code. So there's 3 different energies that are involved, and this is what divination often entails. Divination in the sense of reading for somebody else, like a cartomancer. When a cartomancer takes a look at your energies, they are actually taking a look at your DNA. And so the future and the past are actually very similar. And in their standpoint, right, in the old standpoint, once you get a card reading and the outcome is terrible, you're fucked. Okay, there's nothing you can do about it. But now we understand that reality actually works like a movie. Okay, you know how a movie works, right? It's not an actual flowing energy type of thing. It's frame by frame that moves so quickly that it looks like it's seamless and in motion. Same thing with this. My video is a series of pictures that are moving very quickly, so therefore it looks like a video. But we've kind of lost that not that awareness, but we're starting to understand that reality works in the same way. And so when you understand that reality isn't static, the future can change based on your actions. And so when you get a reading, no matter what reader you go to, it's actually just, um, actually, it does matter what kind of reader you go to. If you go to one of those old school readers, you're going to get a reading that directly reflects your DNA energy. And so chances are you're going to get something that may not be accurate or accurate based on your spiritual development, wherever you are. And that kind of stuff, it can be depressing. If you don't like that kind of reading, I suggest going to an oracle cartologer or oracle reader. I mean, I'm the only oracle cartologer I know of because it's something that I made up. It is oracle cartology is a particular practice that uses particular principles. Okay. Oracle readers use oracle decks, and they tend to use guidance from higher sources, and so they provide a much more they provide better solutions than people who use the old ways. Okay, and it's not to say that the old ways are bad, they're just outdated. And it's not something that we really need to use anymore. Think about the wheel. Do we still use a stone wheel? You can use a stone wheel. The stone wheels work, but do you still want to use a stone wheel? Would you rather have a cart that runs on a stone wheel, or would you like to have a cart or carriage that has wooden wheels? Okay, or wooden wheels with rubber. So there's different upgrades, there's different levels. This is the same thing with spiritual practice. Not all spiritual practices are the same, they're not all equal, and they're not all on the same dimension. Some readers are still functioning on that one-dimensional spiritual understanding. Other readers function on 2 or 3-dimensional or higher. So it's also up to you to decide where and who you get your readings from. Okay, if they don't understand this whole dimensionality aspect, or that reality is something that happens that we choose to decide based on how we think and how we envision things, chances are they're a one-dimensional reader. A lot of these ancient crafts and practices, they function on those same principles. That's why, oh, I gotta go do this at a particular time, that kind of thing. They don't understand that the past, present, and future are all connected, are all one. So if there's a particular blood wolf moon energy that you want to use, you can use it now. Why wait for the next fucking blood moon in the next 50 something years or 100 whatever planetary alignment that happens every several centuries kind of shit? You can do that now. If that's energy that's really beneficial, you can harness that energy now. And that's something that I have been working on and know how to do. So a lot of my practice doesn't actually use physical objects anymore, because physical objects are training tools. They're to help us understand how these energies work. And then once you understand it, you no longer need the physical thing. Same thing with training wheels. Once you know how to ride a bike, you don't need training wheels anymore. So why do you still need the physical object? Not that the physical object is not important, but you don't need it anymore. Okay, and then the next thing the very last thing I want to talk about for geodynamics is called psychometry. The reason why psychometry is a geodynamic practice is because you're using clairvoyance to read and interpret energies based on a particular object or location. Okay, and you're able to see and sense the energy in the past. Psychometry is an ability where you can see and experience sometimes, depending on how connected or how powerful or how open their ability to use psychometry is, and they can actually see things. It's almost like they're there in person. That's the highest level of psychometry there is, and you can explore around as if kind of like you're astral projecting to the past, but you're not really doing that. You're still here in this reality, but you're able to see and experience the energies of the past. And that's why it's a geodynamic practice. You can have psychometry because it's something that's tied to the particular location. And so even though we're not in the same particular location in terms of space, we still have access to that because there's a linear type of thing in the three-dimensional reality, right? If my hand moves from here to here, or my finger, there's a linear motion. So what a psychometrist can do is they can tap into an energy and travel back through that link. And their link is the location or the object. All right. Oh, very interesting stuff. I haven't really dabbled too much in psychometry, but it's something that is most likely what I'm going to be looking into in the future because I am getting more interested in past life stuff. I've been getting more and more signs and synchronicities telling me about one of my past lives that I'm aware of, and I keep hearing the name and all this other stuff, and I think that psychometry is probably one of those things that will help in unveiling past life memories, or there's probably some other practice that's available out there, but I'm not sure yet. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was very interesting information for you. And if you are aware of somebody else who is working to create like a unified paradigm of everything and also making energetic definitions of everything, please let me know so I can take a look at that person's work and also compare and contrast to see if the way I'm defining things is on a similar or different level, or similar or different, understanding or whatever. There's different ways that people see energy, and so maybe they have different pieces of the puzzle that I don't have yet. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Also, if you have any comments, you're welcome to write them down in the comment section below. I'll take a look at them. And if you like my channel and you'd like to support me, subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and share this with other people, because this is something that I would like to teach someday, and also open an academy. That's one of the things, because just having that institution of spiritual learning is going to help revolutionize the energetic atmosphere of everything around it. So it transfers. It's you can think about it like reverse feng shui. Having an academy built will affect the energy around it. So first the city benefits from it, and then the region benefits from it, then the state benefits from it, then the country, and then the world. That's the different levels of feng shui. You're radiating. It's reverse feng shui. And that's something that's available to everybody. And if you understand things on a spiritual level, everything applies. So this applies to relationships, right? Romance, all that stuff, people understand that level. But you can apply this to business and science. That's something that a lot of business people and science people are having a very difficult time really embracing. If you understand energy and spirituality, you don't have to do all this gimmicky stuff like law of attraction this, affirmation that, those kinds of gimmicky stuff. Those are all just gimmicks, and they have temporary effects. There's a much more effective way of doing that, and it's embodying what you want to have in your reality. All right, namaskara. I'll see you guys around in the next video. The next topic is going to be about, let's see, either etherodynamics or psychodynamics, but it's going to be one of the 4 other branches, because there's different branches of etherodynamics, of etherics. All right, so I'll see you guys around. Enjoy the Mercury retrograde.